Welcome back. I'm Mansi, and you're listening to Happiness Now. With me are the amazing spiritual directors of Ananda Mumbai, Narayani and Shurjo. Welcome back, guys. So, a subject everyone wants to know more about is intuition. How do we know that what we're hearing is truly divine intuition and not just more thoughts and imagination or conditioning?
That's a fun one, but also a very subtle one. People think that intuition's like there to help them fulfill their desires. Isn't that what should I do next? What job should I take? As if there's some, divine sound, they're just trying to move them around like little chess pieces to just the right flow. But the truth is that intuition's the language of the universe. And it's not so interested in specifics as the learnings that those situations, those decisions need to bring into your life. Swami Kriyananda in the book Intuition for Starters and has several times said, we have so many lessons to learn. It doesn't really matter where we learn them. Once we understand that, the tension about intuition starts to relax. And in relaxation, intuition flows. When we're like, what should I'm listening and I think and I want and there's, anytime you're tense, that no flow can take place because tension means things are closing in. When there's deep relaxation followed by deep calmness, that's when intuition just naturally flows. But it is also a muscle that can be exercised. So there are two realities to it. You can test out your intuition in different ways. If you realize that what you're really trying to do is get in harmony with the universe and not trying to kind of map out a journey that is singularly yours. Because your intuition isn't an isolated reality. It tunes into everyone around you. It tunes into their journeys. It tunes into the traffic. It tunes into, just like the airspace. It's all participating to create an intuitive flow for you. You've got to first train yourself. How do I get to a state of deep relaxation and deep calmness? If you have a meditative practice, at the end of your meditation, when your heart and your mind is at its stillest space, it's a wonderful time at that time to put out whatever guidance it is that you are seeking. Now, Yogananda said that the point between our eyebrows, the Agya Chakra, is the transmitting station to the universe. And our heart center, the Anahat, is our receiving station. Which means intuition doesn't come so much as a thought as it first comes as a feeling. That feeling is then given a cloth.
Okay.
Is clothed in a thought. And so you send that out, you're still, and then you try to focus at the heart and try to feel. Now what's important here is something will come, a hint, an idea based on a feeling. And what you have to do for that is you have to just follow through and see what it does. One of the biggest things about intuition is learning to follow intuition to dead ends or towards mistakes. As you start to do that, you'll start to realize, when that feeling came, it turned out just right. When this other feeling came, it didn't quite, I followed it through and it didn't particularly. And you have to test these feelings out until it becomes more and more obvious to you. Then you don't have to always, after my meditation, now I'm going to sit, now I'm going to ask. You feel, you follow through, you learn, and you repeat. Until that feeling becomes so deeply established that then there's no more confusion left.
Raini?
And sometimes when we don't know what to do, what to choose, just follow what is the most practical thing to do right now. I may have no idea what course of action I can take, but perhaps if you are thinking to start a big business and you have been given this intuition, ask yourself, do I have the money to start this business? Do I have the right people that can help me? Do I have the right place to start this business? So the intuition may be given to you, but then you need to start from a very practical place to bring that intuition into manifestation. Sometimes intuition to be manifested needs time, because once is, when do I want this intuition to happen versus when is God's timing. Sometimes we are not even ready to receive or to manifest that intuition. So it will require from us patience and to allow ourselves to be ready to manifest that intuition, to attract that project, to attract the right relationship, whatever that intuition you might have received. Sometimes we have these two choices to make. Both of them are great, and it doesn't matter what you choose. Just choose one and go for it. In fact, one of the things that I really like to do is I challenge the universe. I'm going to choose this action, this choice. But if this is not the right thing for me, you have to make it very clear this is not the right decision. Take it away, bring an obstacle, close, an opportunity, so it will be so obvious to me that that wasn't the right decision. And I bring that even a step farther. I'm not only challenge the universe, but I give it a time. And I say to the universe, within the next 10 days, for example, I need to have a sign from you that this choice that I'm about to make, it is the right one for me. And this is a relationship that you need to start building with the universe daily. What I'm going to wear today? What do I feel inspired to wear? Okay, I'm going to use today the red color. Or which street I'm going to take today for work, and let's see where it leads me. So this is something that you need to learn even to have fun with it and start relating to intuition as a friend, that if you know how to treat him, he will be able always to guide you.
I feel like I have more questions based on what you said. You were talking about obstacles. Yogananda had this story an example in his book, which was a man went to church and fell down and said that, see, this is God telling me that I'm not supposed to go to church. How do we identify that this is just us being, I don't actually want to do this, and we're finding excuses to not do it?
We cannot give up just from the first obstacle that life throws at us, because what it may happen is that life is trying to teach you and to ask you how to develop even greater willpower. So maybe in the process you are breaking through a quality, a spiritual quality that you need to develop in order to attract the right intuition. So once we ask for the right course of action, there are many layers that play within us. And there might be many things going on, many things that we need to learn. But I would say, don't give up the first, second, and third obstacle. I always go all for it at least 3 times. And I give myself 100% those 3 times. When the 4th time doesn't happen, I start thinking maybe there is another way to go about it. And it is our ability to be flexible also with our own intuition, because intuition is not a straight line. It just keeps, it's good for us to be open.
There's another fun story Yogananda tells. This time he tells the story of William the Conqueror, who comes from Normandy, and he conquers England and unifies England. When his boat lands on the shores of England, he gets off the boat, and soon after he trips. And when he trips and he falls to the ground, a gasp goes across his entire army because, especially it's like, this is a sign, this is an omen. And what William does, he grabs the earth, picks up all the sand in his hand. He says, I am so eager to conquer this land that I just fell on it to grab it with both my hands. And everybody cheers and gets excited. And he, of course, then goes and conquers England. So, as we said, the universe uses intuition as a live, dynamic flow. And it'll respond to you as you are in each moment. The man who fell and was ready to give up, then intuition will work with him in a very different way. William the Conqueror, who fell and was excited about the fact and changed what that falling meant, intuition will work with him very differently. So that's the relationship, as Narayani was talking about, that you have to develop. It'll keep changing. It'll keep now guiding you from a different way. Because the point of intuition is, how can I get you to grow?
One of the signs of recognizing that an intuition is real, it will give always a very particular feeling, and that's the feeling of calmness and expansion. If whatever intuition you receive, there is some sort of restlessness or agitation in the heart, or perhaps, a little bit of, contraction, those feelings in the heart, that will give you a hint to think about and see where is this intuition coming from.
I've never heard intuition be described like that, because intuition often is about getting something or getting something done rather than becoming something. So intuition, you're also saying, is a lot about courage, about willpower.
Intuition is very much about courage, because oftentimes a lot of people don't follow through on their intuitions, or they like to talk about it as I felt this and I think this, but you don't see any actual action. When an intuition comes, you have to have the courage to actually follow through. Otherwise, there's no way you will ever know what it was meant to be, or whether it's even real or not. And you live kind of in a make-believe world that it was meant to be, or you wait thinking intuition means now the universe will provide me with the situation and circumstance, as opposed to I have to create the situation and circumstance. And so courage, willpower, but of course, as we said, relaxation and surrender. And I know they seem like contradictory terms, courage and willpower and relaxation and surrender, because we think of them as opposites, but they're not opposites at all. It takes a lot of courage and willpower to truly surrender, because we never really want to give up control of our lives, do we? And so, you find that balance, and intuition, in fact, is that balance. There's a beautiful story again to help understand that a little bit. He and a disciple of his were going somewhere. Yogananda was supposed to go give a lecture somewhere, and they were running late. And so as they were going, they were walking to this place, Yogananda starts running. And the disciple starts running, and they're both running together. And the disciple, trying to be spiritual, says to his guru, Master, it's okay, we'll get there. We don't need to, get agitated about it or something. And Yogananda says, you can run nervously or you can run calmly. But not to run when you're late is irresponsibility.
Boom. That was really informative and so wise. Shurjo, your turn.
All right, let's end as always by just withdrawing a little away from the mind. And let's practice what we talked about as a technique for intuition. Sit upright. Let the spine be nice and elongated, straight. Let your shoulders be relaxed, your chest, especially your heart, be open. With your gaze gently uplifted, focus deeply at the point between the eyebrows, at the transmitting station, as Yogananda called it. And with deep clarity, send out into the universe that question, that guidance, that confusion, that support that you are seeking. Just one thing, simply put, clearly put. Visualize it if it helps you. And simultaneously, while you're doing that, bring your awareness to the heart a little bit and try to see and feel in the receiving station if there's any feeling around that guidance, that question. If it helps, pose a few options, this versus that. And then as you pose the options, feel again for both of them. Rest a moment in that feeling until it solidifies and clarifies itself. And then whenever you are ready, open your eyes and see what's the first step you can take towards following whatever little bit of intuition you may have received.
Thank you so much as always. That was beautiful. I can't wait to talk with you more. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Please take as much time as you want to stay in that meditative space and come back to us when you're ready.